So I think that this time is different where Greece is concerned. In the past, it's been Greece versus its creditors. This time around, Greece has actually passed all the measures asked of it, more pension cuts, tax hikes. The creditors are the ones who are disagreeing. Greece has a big bond repayment in July. I just can't imagine the IMF and the heads of European countries allowing Greece to default because they couldn't agree amongst themselves. So I think actually it's very likely they'll come up with some kind of fudge to get the IMF involved so they can provide this next tranche of payments. So I don't think that Greece will sort of be a bellwether for what's going on in the rest of Europe this time around as it was back in July a few years ago when all the banks closed. I don't think we'll see that kind of crisis this time around.
But could it generate a fresh round of anti-EU sentiment here? Let's face it, if this was any other country in the world, there would be an IMF World Bank deal to restructure the debt and assist the country, because inevitably you cannot cut your way to growth, and that's been shown again in Greece now that they're back in technical recession. So the only thing that's holding back this is the Germans and Brussels. Do you think we do end up with another round of very strong anti-EU sentiment out of Greece?
Well, so you're right to highlight that it's really just the politics getting in the way here. I don't think that Greece or sentiment about what's going on in Greece will extend to the rest of the Eurozone. I think just as we've seen this schism between soft and hard data in the US, we've seen the same thing happen in the rest of the Eurozone. So the soft data is actually looking really good, the PMI data, for example. So there is an expansion underway in Europe, and I don't think that Greece is likely to derail it.
That's the illusion, isn't it? So Greece, right up until from the end of the bailout to about 2022, it's expected to get to that 3.5% surplus on its budget. That's ex-payments around debt, of course. So that might be achievable in a short-term window as you've got a recovery across the Eurozone. But after that, what happens when you have more challenging conditions? I think most people anticipate a recession in the next 10 years.
That's right. I think it's going to be incredibly difficult for Greece to maintain that kind of primary surplus for that many years. So I think once again, Greece is being set up to fail. You know, everybody's discourse on this might change after the German elections in September. So we're seeing the Germans really dig in on this now for obvious reasons, given that they have an election. They've promised the German people that they're not engaging in a transfer. That might change after the German elections. And while I don't think that Greece will cause a concern to spread across the Eurozone, I would say that the Italian elections, which will be held by next March, absolutely could. So I've always thought that that was the event in Europe to watch. There's a populist anti-Euro party that's been in the lead for ages. If they have the elections early next year, Italy might have political unrest at the same time the ECB is winding down its quantitative easing program, from which Italy benefits massively. So we could see a lot of contagion coming from that.